Hi, my name is Abigail Justus, and you're listening to the Adams State Podcast. Today I'm here with Amanda Sparks. So what do you do, Amanda, on campus? Because you're one of the most busy people.
Yeah, so I am Amanda Sparks. This is my third year here at Adams State, and I do indeed do a lot. Most importantly, I am student body president, so I sit as president for our associated students and faculty. With that job comes positions in the president's cabinet, so I sit on that cabinet as well as I am the student trustee for our board of trustees. I am a resident assistant. I am a STEM mentor. I am a STEM tutor. I am a manager for the softball team, and I work in academic advising as a work study receptionist. So yes, I do indeed do a lot.
I think you are one of the busiest people I've had on the podcast. So what inspired you to take on all of these responsibilities?
So that is a loaded question, and that's something that I had to think about a lot when I was reading the questions and kind of thinking to myself how I was going to answer it. And one of the biggest reasons why I do what I do is I really do enjoy seeing student success and students achieve things, and I love doing that as a student myself. I came here originally to run for the cross country and track team, but I injured my hip pretty badly. I broke it in 2 places and tore my labrum and had a surgery on it. And that's when I found out that I was no longer able to compete, let alone run as much as I wanted to. So that kind of changed my mindset and changed my perspective on what I could do here on campus rather than just going to class. And so I started getting really involved with having this priority to see change on campus for students. And that's when I figured out how much I could do. So I started as a resident assistant, and from there is when I moved into being a STEM mentor, because I am a STEM major. So that was a really big push into the direction of me as a student creating change on campus. And from there, I became Chief Justice for the Associated Students and Faculty. And when our previous president graduated, I ran, got appointed, and here I am. And
not to mention that you're also one of the last geology majors.
Yeah, so that was another big reason why I came to Adams State, was for their geoscience program. Geoscience is something that I've always wanted to do since I was really little. My grandfather is my biggest influence. He got his bachelor's degree in geology from the University of Wyoming, and that, growing up, that is something that we shared all the time, just our interests and our passions for earth sciences. And so when I made the decision to go to college, geoscience was one of the biggest things that I wanted to look into. And I saw Adams State and I said, yep, this is what I'm going to do. And then recently they actually they got rid of our geoscience degree, so the last people in it are in it. Nobody else can apply for it or transition to that major. So yeah, I am one of the last ones. I graduate in May, and I am the only female in most of my classes, which is, it's fun. It's great. It's a great time, really.
I know my mom came here actually for her geoscience, degree, you could say. My mom is a lovely person, and so she's one of the smartest people I know, actually. So I'm glad other people are actually enjoying the same major she does.
Yeah, geoscience to me is one of those majors that's, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is getting smaller and smaller. There's a lot of jobs out there requiring people with these types of degrees and these types of experiences that there's just not a lot of anymore. There's a really big need for those jobs right now, and not a lot of people getting degrees. So in that specific science. So I'm really happy that I was able to stick with it. I do really enjoy it, and I do have a lot of ideas and things that I want to do after graduation that kind of helps that job, that, what's it called, like that job experience, like people within that job, so that it kind of stays, because it is important. We need to know about the earth. So I'm really glad that I can be a part of that.
I know personally, like I grew up, my mom's a hydrogeologist. And so I grew up knowing like some water rights. My mom would always take us to like beautiful hikes so we could look at rock formation. And then if we were like in a national park, she'd be like, oh, look at that rock. This is from this period. Or like,
yes, I still do that. Like I've only taken, I've taken very many classes on it, but I still do that everywhere I go. My mom's with me, my cousins are with me, my siblings, and I'm like, guys, this is this rock. This is how it was formed. It's very, very interesting to me. And I'm from New Mexico as well. So the water rights aspect of that, I have a lot of, I've done a lot of research on, I've read a lot about it, and that's one of the biggest things that's important to me as well. So yeah, it's kind of a small world. I really enjoy that I know somebody else who knows a woman in my field of STEM.
I find it interesting that I get to meet someone who's trying to be like in that position. Personally, I love the earth and I love like hydrogeology and geology, but I could never do it. And I know that personally, but it's one of those like fields of study that I actually looked into when I was applying to schools and stuff like that. 'Cause I liked the science program here and like the math program and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting. So if I wanted to, I could go into it. But no, like with your responsibilities,
there's a lot.
There's a lot. You're an RA, essentially a ANSF president, cabinet member, and a bunch of other things. Mm-hmm. And you got into this field or these choices and responsibilities because you wanted to make a difference, which I think is one of the biggest things you can do on our campus. What does the ASNF actually like do for, well, the school? Because let's admit, not a lot of people talk about it.
No, they don't. So ASNF is our student government on campus, and the reason why it's really, really important to me that more people know about it, because we are such a small campus. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure this year we only had 1,600 undergrad students. And there's a number for graduate students as well, which is, I think, around the same. But even so, those are really small numbers. We have a very small campus, and to me, that means that we as students can make even more of a change because we have those connections everywhere. And basically what ASNF does is we are the student voice. So changes on campus are made by the president's cabinet or different departments coming up with different ideas for the well-being of students. And a really big part of that, though we aren't a department, we are the students. We are the voice of the students. And our voice is just as important, if not more important, to get what we want out of this university. So that's a lot of what ASNF does is represent that student voice, represent student needs, and create that positive change that we as students would like to see on this campus.
How can students get involved in the ASNF program?
So right now, our executive team is a team of 3. It is me as president, our executive secretary, Lizzie Wilson, and our vice president of finance, Giovanna Arroyo. And that's it. And there are 3 other positions on our executive team that we have our VP of External Affairs, and they are like a liaison between university and community. So they do a lot of networking and connecting with the community to kind of bring that aspect into our university. We also have our VP of Internal Affairs, and they oversee our clubs. So we have 18 clubs on campus right now. We just recognized 7 new ones this term, which is amazing. That's more student engagement, more student involvement that we wanted to see. But the VP of Internal Affairs really oversees that and makes sure that they're running right and they get their funding for the things that they want to do to promote student engagement and involvement on campus. And then we also have our Chief Justice position, which was my previous position. And what I did in that position was mainly student concerns, and I sat on like the legislative judicial branch of our student government, so I dealt with appeals and things like that. So that one was a really fun job. I really did enjoy that. But yeah, so we have those positions in our executive team that are open for application right now. We have applications up on our website, as well as hard and soft copies in our office, or if you just email me, I will give one to you gladly. We also have our senator positions that we're trying to get up and running again. Historically in ASNF, we have representatives from every club that have voting power in our Senate, as well as 2 senators from every department on campus. And because of lower participation rates, lower involvement rates and things like that, since COVID and things like that, we've lost a lot of people to that, and we haven't had those senator positions. And if we have, there's been like 2 or 3 of them, and they just added an extra voice to our Senate meetings. However, right now, we are trying to get those senator positions back up and running to implement committees that kind of mock our administrative committees, so that students can come up with their own bills and reports and things that they want to see on campus, so that our entire Senate as a whole can vote on it, and then me as student representative can take that up to the president's cabinet and introduce that to them, and we can talk about actually creating solutions to some of the concerns we have. So we do have a lot of ways to get involved with ASNF for anybody that has a passion for student success and positive change for our university.
How do you manage like all of your responsibilities and everything you do every day?
Google Calendar. If it doesn't go into Google Calendar, it does not happen. And that is something that I live by. I've lived by that since freshman year. Freshman year, I only worked in academic advising. And when I started picking up responsibilities one by one, I found myself getting stressed to no end because I would just forget things that I had to do. I'd either forget about a meeting or forget about an assignment. And so usually at the beginning of every semester, I get my class schedule and I put that into Google Calendar right away. I put my tests in there when papers are due because I just get that from the syllabus. And then the minute I schedule my work hours at every job that I have, I put all of that in Google Calendars, and then my Google Calendar is a mess, but it's in there, and as long as I see it, I can get it done. So that's why you'll hear me say a lot, if it doesn't go in the calendar, it does not happen.
I think that's like a good thing. I have a paper calendar that I write in.
I just like Google Calendar because I do have a paper calendar as well, but paper calendars don't give me notifications. And Google Calendar, I get notifications on my phone, my laptop, my desktop, my Apple Watch, and I get them all the time. So I'm able to be reminded of everything that I need to do.
I think I might have to switch to Google Calendar now.
I 10 out of 10 recommend it.
What would you say is like the most impactful thing that you've done on campus personally?
Ooh, that is a loaded question. Most impactful. I don't know. I feel like I have to like get out of like humbling myself for a minute and like actually think about what I've done on campus for people. And I think the biggest thing is it's taking on all of these positions, because in my mind, for a lot of these things, students needed me in some way. My STEM mentees needed me as a mentor. People that come to me for tutoring needed me for tutoring, or they would get bad grades, or they wouldn't understand something. Being a resident assistant, that is a job that I think I have impacted students in a way that it's more than just academia. Like most students come here from all over. They leave home for the first time, or they're transitioning into a place where they're living on their own, and they need just, I want to say, like that big sister of sorts that's able to like help keep them on track, be there for anything that they need. And as president, the things we are building up our student government from its foundation right now. We had to take a step back and realize exactly what we needed to do and build on that and work on that. And so with all of those things, I wouldn't say there's one specific thing that I've done to impact students the most that I can name. It's more of kind of going back to the basics and creating a foundation that can be built on even after I leave. And I see that mostly in my president position. Because we are building back from the top, we don't have solutions to everything yet, but they're coming. And that's something that I work really, really hard on. So the impact that I have on this university and on students, I think, is more of a just kind of like a helping hand to seeing more student achievement, student success in the future.
So in essence, you're making the basic foundation that everybody can build on.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I think that is one of the most impactful things that you have done on campus.
Well, thank you. I really have tried my very hardest. It gets really hard at times and stressful at times, but I just have to take a deep breath and think of what I'm doing for myself and students that are here now and will be here after me.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I don't know. I think if I had to say one thing, like if there are students listening to this, I'll go back to my convocation speech that I gave to my to the freshman class this year, and a big part of that was showing up. I would not have all of the opportunities that I have been given, that have literally fallen into my lap, if I didn't show up. And what I mean by showing up is show up to class. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you don't want to discuss in your class. Show up and create that connection with your peers, create that connection with your professors. Show up to student events. A lot of times people that come here, students that come here, especially student athletes, they're condensed to their only friends on campus are their teammates or whatever. And if you show up to student events, like, you never know who you might meet. You never know what doors that might open for you. And yeah, just if you are the more you are involved on campus, the more you will be motivated, the more you'll be happy to be here and to be a student, and to be a proud student. Because yes, we're a very small school, and I still go home and people say, "What's Adams State? Where's that?" But to me, that means something. And that's because I've showed up and I've met so many people, and I've built rapport with so many people that have in turn created so much accomplishment in my life. So that's all I have to say. Show up.
And how can people contact you to get involved in the ASNF?
Yes. So if you guys would like to contact me, anybody, for anything, for any reason, I do have ABMs that go out to every single Adams State email every week and or bi-weekly, just telling you when our Senate meetings are, which by the way are public, anybody can attend. And also my email is at the very bottom of that. You can also reply to that email because it goes straight to me. But my email is always open for absolutely anybody. It's just my last name, sparksac@adams.edu. And if anybody wants to get involved, that's the way to get to me.
And where is the ASNF located?
So our office is located in the Core Center in the Student Union building. We have very crazy office hours because there is only 3 of us, but they are posted outside of our office, so as well as all of our business cards and how to contact us.
Alrighty, thank you for coming on to the Adams State podcast, and thank you all for listening today.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
I'm glad you could make it.